Welcome back to Grifter or Gifted. Where we try to figure out if someone is really changing the world or just kind of, playing us all for fools. Today, we are diving deep into the career of a rapper who's probably just as famous for her online feuds as she is for her music.
Yeah.
Azealia Banks.
Azealia Banks, yeah. It's a really fascinating case because on one hand, you have, undeniable talent.
Yeah.
Her early music, especially that song 212, critically acclaimed, pop charts, I mean. She was hailed as, the next big thing.
212 was everywhere. It was inescapable. It was this, really explosive mix of rap and electronic music.
Yeah.
And everyone was making comparisons to, Missy Elliott, MIA, even Aaliyah.
Yeah.
There's this, buzz that she was going to, revolutionize hip-hop.
And what's interesting is that her music does often push boundaries, blends genres, experiments with sounds. There's, real creative energy there.
Yeah, and then there's, the other side of Azealia Banks.
Yeah.
The one that's constantly making headlines. But for, all the wrong reasons, the endless feuds, controversial statements, Twitter wars, it's almost impossible to separate the art from the drama.
It is, and that's the challenge we're facing today, right?
Yeah.
Is this someone who's genuinely pushing boundaries, musically, culturally, or is she deliberately using controversy to build her brand?
Right. So to kind of get to the bottom of this, we've pulled together a ton of sources. We've got her Wikipedia page, which, let me tell you, is a wild ride.
Yeah.
We've got articles detailing her various feuds and legal battles. And we've even got some fan-created wikis that chronicle every single controversial tweet. Buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
It's a lot to unpack. But that's what we're here for. We're going to try and break it all down and help you decide. Is Azealia Banks a visionary artist who's just been misunderstood? Or is there something more calculated behind this chaotic career?
Yeah. So let's start at the beginning. Azealia got her start in musical theater, and by 2011, she was making waves with her self-released mixtape. But it was 212 that really catapulted her to fame.
212 wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural moment. Critics praised her unique rapping style. Her bold lyrics, that infectious beat, it felt fresh, it felt different. It put her on the map globally.
I remember hearing it for the first time and just being blown away. It was unlike anything else out there. There's so much energy, so much attitude. It felt like she was ushering in a new era of hip-hop.
And for a while, it seemed like she was on track to do just that. Signed a major label deal, performing at huge festivals, collaborating with, big-name producers. The future looked bright.
Yeah. But then things started to unravel, and the controversies began to, pile up.
And these weren't just minor disagreements. These were full-blown public feuds, often playing out on social media for the whole world to see.
Right. And her list of rivals is basically a who's who of the music industry. Iggy Azalea, Beyonce, Kreayshawn, Lana Del Rey, Nicki Minaj. It's like she was picking fights with everyone.
And the nature of these feuds is important to note, too. Often they involved accusations of plagiarism, cultural appropriation, or just straight-up personal attacks. It created this perception that she was constantly at war with her peers.
And it wasn't just limited to other artists. She had public spats with, entire countries, making offensive remarks about Australia, Brazil, Ireland, which led to canceled shows and bans from social media platforms.
It's a pattern that repeats itself throughout her career, this burst of creative brilliance followed by a wave of self-destructive behavior.
So the question becomes, is this part of her artistic persona? Is the controversy intentional? Or is this a sign of something, deeper, something more troubled?
Yeah, that's what we're going to explore as we dig deeper into some of the most significant events in Azealia Banks' career. And trust me, there's a lot to uncover.
Okay, so we've established Azealia Banks, incredibly talented, also incredibly controversial.
Yeah.
But, is she a visionary or is she a villain? To answer that, I think we kind of have to dive into some specific examples.
Right. One incident that really captures this whole tension, I think, is her involvement with the song Feifei.
Yes.
A collaboration with Nicki Minaj and Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, Feifei, massive hit, but also incredibly problematic. 6ix9ine, as most people know, convicted of sexual misconduct with a minor. So how do you separate the art from the artist in a situation like this, especially when the artist you're trying to support has a history of controversial behavior herself?
It's a question a lot of people were grappling with. Feifei was undeniably catchy, and Azalea's verse was, fire. But 6ix9ine's presence cast a shadow over the whole thing. For many, it was a step too far, and they felt like supporting the song was condoning 6ix9ine's actions.
Right. It definitely raised questions about Azalea's judgment. And, her willingness to collaborate with someone like 6599 Fine, even if it meant, boosting her own career. Did she not grasp the seriousness of the situation? Or did she simply not care?
Yeah, it's really hard to say for sure. But it is worth noting that Azalea has defended her decision to work with 6ix9ine, arguing that people should be able to separate the art from the artist, but for many it wasn't that simple.
It wasn't. And then there's the whole saga with Matty Healy, lead singer of the 1975. Ooh, this one got really ugly really fast.
It did. It started with just like a disagreement about Charli XCX's music video back in 2014, Banks criticizing the women featured in it. And then Healy kind of chimes in, calling Banks a failure.
Yeah.
And the back and forth just escalated from there.
Yeah, Azalea compared Healy to Frankenstein, so made some pretty nasty comments with his girlfriend, and things just spiraled out of control.
Yeah, Healy retaliated by calling her a rat and even threatening to slap her, a post he later deleted and apologized for. But Azalea wasn't having it, accused him of cyberbullying, harassment, and ultimately threatened legal action.
Yeah, she went so far as to share the cease and desist letter publicly, demanding $1 million in damages.
Wow.
$1 million.
This feud, like so many others, played out in the public eye, with both sides lobbing insults and accusations. It's a classic example of how Azealia Banks seems to thrive on conflict, often taking things to extremes. But it also raises the question, is she the instigator? Or is she reacting to legitimate provocation?
Right. And it's not just feuds. Azalea has also had her fair share of legal troubles. Remember the whole Elon Musk and Tesla debacle?
Oh, right. That was wild. Azalea claimed that she went to Elon Musk's house to work on music with Grimes, and then ended up stranded there for days waiting for Grimes to show up, which, she never did. Became this whole bizarre saga with Azalea accusing Musk of all sorts of shady behavior.
It ended with Azalea getting slapped with the defamation lawsuit and ultimately apologizing for her comments. But it definitely added to her reputation as someone who's unpredictable and prone to making outlandish claims.
Yeah, and let's not forget about her ongoing battle with her former record label boss. She's accusing him of withholding royalties and financial misconduct, a case that's still dragging on in court.
It seems like wherever Azealia Banks goes, drama follows. But the question is she creating the drama? Or is she simply a magnet for it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
So where do we go from here? We've got this incredibly talented artist capable of making, groundbreaking music.
Yeah.
But she's also prone to, self-sabotage and reckless behavior. Is she a visionary who's been misunderstood? Or is she a master manipulator who knows how to use controversy to her advantage?
To get closer to an answer, I think we need to look at one more crucial piece of the puzzle, Azealia Banks' relationship with her fans.
So we've talked about Azealia Banks' undeniable talent, her long list of feuds, her legal battles. But there's one more kind of element that's been crucial to her survival in the music industry, despite all the chaos, her fan base.
Right, despite all the controversy, she has this fiercely loyal group of fans who call themselves the Kunt Brigade. And that name kind of says it all.
Yeah.
They're ride or die, unapologetically supportive, and they see something in Azealia that a lot of people miss.
It's they're drawn to her kind of rebellious energy or willingness to, speak her mind no matter the consequence. They see her as someone who's fighting against the establishment, calling out hypocrisy wherever she finds it.
Yeah, and it's that unwavering support that's allowed her to kind of stay afloat in an industry that's often quick to just discard artists who, don't play by the rules. She doesn't need major labels. She doesn't need radio play to reach her audience. She connects directly with them through social media, independent releases, her own platforms.
It's almost like she's built her own mini empire outside of the traditional music industry. And that gives her a level of creative freedom that most artists can only dream of.
Exactly. She can experiment. She can push boundaries. She can be as provocative as she wants without the fear of censorship.
Right.
Of course, that freedom has also led to, some of her most controversial moments, but it's also allowed her to cultivate this very direct, unfiltered relationship with her fans.
So as we try to answer this question of grifter or gifted, how much weight should we give to the fact that she has this devoted fan base? Does it mean she's tapped into something real, something meaningful? Or is it just, evidence of her ability to manipulate and attract attention regardless of her actions?
It's a tough question, but I think it speaks to the bigger picture here, which is that Azealia Banks is more than just a musician. She's a cultural phenomenon.
Hmm.
She sparked conversations about race, gender, power, the music industry itself.
Love her or hate her, you can't deny
Yeah.
that she has, like, made an impact. She's challenged, our assumptions about what it means to be an artist in the digital age.
So we've, gone through this mountain of information, explored the highs and lows of her career, dissected her most controversial moments, and we're left with a puzzle that's not easy to solve.
Yeah.
Is she a grifter? Is she gifted? Maybe she's a bit of both. Maybe she's like, a flawed genius who sabotages herself as much as she creates. Maybe she's just simply a product of our times, a reflection of our obsession with outrage and controversy.
Right.
The real question isn't about like labeling her one way or the other. It's about understanding why she provokes such strong reactions, you know?
Yeah.
What is it about her that both attracts and repels us? Is it her talent? Her audacity, her refusal to, play by the rules.
Right. And that's something that we kind of want you to think about. Where do you land on the grifter or gifted spectrum when it comes to Azealia Banks? Head over to our social media and, share your thoughts.
And more importantly, I think, we hope this whole deep dive has kind of encouraged you to think critically about the figures who capture our attention, for better or for worse.
Right.
Because understanding Azealia Banks is about more than just understanding one artist. It's about understanding like the complex forces that shape our culture and ourselves.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.